Alright, so welcome to How to Dyno, and today we're going to get into the basics of Dynobot. As you all know, Dynobot is a moderation bot, and it's only fair to go over some of its moderation capabilities. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Alright, so before we begin, I'd just like to go over how to actually add a server mod. So to add a mod, we have a simple command called add mod, and to run it or to use it, it's just add mod, and then you specify the role name of the users you'd like to grant mod permissions to. So for this server, I have a role called example mod, and I'd like to give those users or users that have that role permissions to use Dyno's moderator commands. So to do that, I just run add mod example mod. And of course, you'd have to be an admin or an owner to run this command. But as you can see, users in this role now have moderator permissions. And to verify, we can run the list mods command, and it will list the mod roles in the server. To show you what this role kind of does, these users now have access to like all the basic, the basic moderator commands. But if, let's say, someone was, being naughty and they wanted to try to like kick everyone on staff with Dyno, if they try to kick anyone with this mod role, as you can see, it won't go through because that user is a mod. If I were to remove that role, they'd easily be kicked, which you will see later on in the video. So yeah, that's how you add mod roles. To actually set an administrative role that's within your server settings. So for example, I have this example admin. You can either enable this administrator permission, but just keep in mind that this user or users within this role will have access to basically everything, like your server settings, all of this. They'll have access to almost everything, well, basically everything in the server. The safer way is to just allow the manage server permission, and all they can just do Discord wise is just change the server name or move region, stuff like that. Nothing big. Well, I guess it is big if you're changing the server name, but yeah, these should be given to trusted members within your server. So you just enable that manage server permission, and now you have an admin once you actually give it to a user. So now this member is an admin. They can now use manager commands, which you can also find in the dashboard. And once again, if I were to try to kick this user, we'd get the same message. All right, so now you're probably wondering, how do I remove moderator roles? So it's as simple as this. So we have a command called del mod, which stands for deleter mod. All you have to do is just del mod and then enter the name of the role. So we added the example role, as you can see up there. So we just say del mod example mod, and now those users no longer have mod permissions. So if I were to try to kick this user, well, if I remove admin first, if I try to kick this user now, they will be removed from the server because they are no longer a moderator within Dyno. Okay, so the first moderation command we'll go over is the mute command. The mute command is fairly complex in relation to all the other moderator commands, mainly because users normally have issues with role permissions. So they'll be like, oh, I muted someone in my server, but they're still talking. And that's usually due to a role permission error, because Dyno will automatically create the muted role and set the permission for the muted role. But if you have overriding roles like a verified role or member role or something like that, that can mess with the muted role. I will show you guys a workaround. For that, but I'm not going to go over like the channel permissions or anything like that, because that can get a little tedious, and I don't want to really take up too much time. So to run this command, it's just mute, and then you have the user. So you can either mention the user by simply mentioning them, or you can just grab their ID. Either one works, and the same is true for all of the other moderator commands. It works the same way. And then you can enter the length. So to specify a length, you can use H for hours, D for day, or just use M for minutes, but the default is in minutes. So if I just enter 1, this is going to mute this user for 1 minute. You can also just use the equivalent. So for like 1 hour, I can either write that or just do 60, because there is 60 minutes in an hour. So either one will work. And then I can also add a reason. So once again, both the length and the reason are optional. But remember, if you don't add a length, the user will be permanently muted until you run the unmute command. So we'll just add the reason how to Dyno, just because we can. And we've now muted that user for 60 minutes. Now, there's also a way to have Dyno just automatically delete mod commands once they've been executed, which I will also go over. So since I have my Modlogs enabled, if you don't know what Modlogs are, please watch my moderation video. And I believe I show you how to enable that. But since we have it enabled, we can go over to logs, and now we have a log for that mute we just did. So it says the user I muted along with the moderator, the person that muted the user. We have the length here, and if you remember, I did say 60 minutes. As you can see, Dyno automatically converted it to 1 hour. And then the reason is down here, which is how to Dyno. We can also pull up the modlog for that user. You can either mention the user for this or use their ID. I just like using their ID because it doesn't mention or ping them. So modlogs for the user, it's going to be lengthy because I do a lot of testing in the server. These do eventually clear. I don't remember the limits on when they do. So if anyone from Dyno could like help me out with the limit for that, or I might add it later on in the description. So the latest modlog is always at the top. So today is December 7th. And the reason right here is for how to Dyno, and the user I muted is right there. And the moderator that did it as well. And you also have the cases here, and there's a lot of commands that coincide with this. For example, there's an actual case command, so I can pull out specific cases. It just pulls the modlog, or not the modlog, but the log that was sent to the logs channel. But yeah, so there's the mute command. Very simple. Once again, I will demonstrate how to avoid the little role permission errors by just having or setting Dyno to automatically remove all the other roles when the user is muted, and then re-add the rules once they've been unmuted. But since we're here, let's just show off the unmute command. So we can just run unmute and then the user, which is Tesla. You can also add a reason, but that's optional. In this case, I'm just going to do it just because I can. How to Dyno, and we'll just say 2. Yeah, doesn't really matter, but that was the reason right there. Tesla was has been unmuted, and then we have a modlog again. Sent to the logs channel. So it says unmute. User we unmuted was Tesla. The user that performed the unmute was me, how to Dyno, and then the reason was how to Dyno 2. And it's as simple as that. And then you've got the user ID down at the bottom and the case ID to refer to this case later on. I guess since we're here, and you have moderation log enabled and whatnot, to update these reasons here, there is a command, I believe it's reason. So you get the case ID, which is, or the case number rather. So I want to change case 24. Come over here and I do reason 24, and then we'll just use test. And now we've now updated case 24, and the reason is now test. Not really part of the video structure, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, so the next command we'll go over is the kick command. So it's a simple command. It's just kick user with the reason. Again, reason is optional. You do not have to specify a reason, but for organizational purposes, or if you have like some type of system where mods are performing these actions, then that's when this will become useful. But to kick, you just run kick. Again, you can use their ID, their Discord ID, or you can mention them. Both of these work the same. They will both remove the user. And we'll just add the test. You can see user's gone, test was kicked, and we have logs showing who performed the action and the user that was kicked, along with their ID down here and the reason. And as I did earlier, how I showed you how to edit the reason for this, you can use that same reason command to change the reason for kicks, bans, soft bans, all of that, by just grabbing the case ID or the case number and doing the same thing we did earlier. So there's the kick command. Okay, and we're back. So the next command is the Softban command. So this is an interesting command. So the way Softban works is it will ban a user and then immediately unban the user upon running this command. So it's basically a kick, but the catch to this is that this will actually delete any of their previous messages that they had sent in the server, because in a way it is basically a kick, but it just adds that extra the extra step of actually clearing their messages. So if you'd like to do that, it's literally the same as kick, just with the word softban. So it's just softban and then the user. So again, you can grab their ID. So last time I used the mention, so this time we use the ID, and then you can enter a reason. Once again, reason is optional, but in this case I'm just going to go ahead and use add a reason. So test 2, users was softban, and if we come down to logs, we've got a softban log with the same information. Okay, so the next command is the ban command. In a previous video, I actually went over how to ban a user who isn't in your server, because that is possible with Dyno. So please check out that video if you'd like to learn how to do that. But this is really as simple as just running ban and then mentioning the user you'd like to ban. So this will permanently ban Dyno. For this example, of course this isn't possible, Dyno cannot ban itself, but I'm just doing this as an example. If you'd like to temporarily ban a user, you can perhaps, for example, ban them for like 1 hour, 1 day, something along those lines, even like 1 minute. And then we also have these subcommands down here. So ban save will basically leave all of the user messages. It won't purge any of that, any of their old messages. And ban match will actually look for messages specified. Like if I were to say like ban match hi, then it would go in and look for the last 100 messages, through the last 100 messages that contain the word hi, and then ban everyone that match that phrase. And then it'll have like a little nice log that it'll present to you, which I believe I've already gone over this in one of the update videos. But yeah, so the simple basics to ban is just ban at user. Then if you want to add a length, just ban them for like 4 days or something like that, or 4 hours, something like that. But yeah, very simple. And then we have a log already in here because I banned my my main not too long ago. So we have the user, moderator who performed the action, the length. So they're just banned for an hour. After an hour, Dyno will just go ahead and unban the user, and the user should be able to rejoin the server. And then we have the reason, and then the ID down here, along with the case number as well. The only other command I have to show off is the warn command. So we can warn members. This is just going to send a DM to the user in question. So for example, we just do warn at, we can warn myself. So this warn command is the only command that kind of bypasses the whole mod admin ignore thing. So you can warn moderators and admins and even the owner, which I'm going to do here. So we just, user ID or user mention. I'm going to warn myself and just say, stop that. And as you can see, we got our warning up here, and you're warned in server, stop that. And if we go back, the log for this looks like this. So it's warn, and it's like a little peachy yellow. We have the reason, moderator, user ID, same stuff as usual. Only with this not only is all of these commands tied into the mod logs, but this command specifically has another command called warnings, and we can actually pull up the user warnings for or the specific warnings for a user. So this is the user, or this is the one we just did not too long ago. The ID structure for this is a little different. So they'll warn, and I can delete specific warnings. There we go. I can delete specific warnings. So that's the basic mod commands. Hopefully this video was useful. I hope it's not too long for you guys, but I just wanted to go over the basics since I just realized I haven't done that. If you've enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share, and comment. And most importantly, subscribe, because we are really close to 1,000 subscribers. If we hit this mark today, I will be very happy. I love you guys. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.